Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Rogers, a multiple scholarship winner and LT, currently a doctor in Korea. Today I will I'll be talking about the Korean government scholarship, which was formerly called as Korean Government Scholarship, but now it's called Global Korean Scholarship (KGSP) back then, but now it's called G. Abbreviation is GKS. That is a Global Korean Scholarship. So I will be inviting on my platform today a couple of um, Korean government scholarship alumni. That's people who had the scholarship before. They're going to share their experiences on how they had to apply for it, the challenges they faced, and how they did adapt in Korea. The purpose for doing all of this is because usually with the government scholarship, what happens is that usually usually you have 2 seasons when the scholarship is being launched or announced. You have in September for the undergraduate students who are interested in applying for the scholarship. Then you also have the graduate, that is masters and PhD students in January, early January, they do apply and come to Korea by August. So those who apply by September, who are the undergraduate students, do come to Korea by winter, that's early January the following year. So let me just invite them here. I have one student from Kangwon National University who is going to be coming joining the platform. And then also have another one from Gyeongbuk National University in Daegu. She will also be joining the platform to share her experience. So just let me tell them we are starting because we had to start soon, but because of little thing. Okay. Yeah. Hello, bro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, I can see you, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
let me notify the other students to come on and then let's talk about KGSP.
Okay. So
Yeah.
is this like live on YouTube now?
Yeah, I am live on YouTube at the moment, and I think it's supposed to run simultaneously with Facebook. So
Okay.
yes. So the questions like I initially told you, the questions
Yeah.
are very simple. You understand? I want it to be as simple as much as possible, and you should be relaxed as much as possible to share the information so that it can reach a lot of people and students can get to be informed about this. Like we are both in the same campus. By the way, just introduce yourself to those that don't really know you. So
Okay.
yeah.
Hello, my name is Casimir Agosu. I am from Benin, and currently I'm studying in South Korea, in Gangwon National University. I study as a PhD student, and my major is remote sensing of environment.
Okay.
So yeah, that should be all for today.
Yeah, that's okay. So you have a lot of questions, by the way, from me and from people who will be sending questions as well.
Okay.
So I mean it's going to be a friendly talk while passing information to a lot of people who are interested in applying for the Korean government scholarship because September the undergraduate students will start applying as well. So
Yeah.
totally there are about 200 to 300 positions globally. You have both okay, we have Mary here.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
put the
You're
face.
welcome.
Hey, Mary. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Oh, Kashmir, you've met Mari before.
I think yes, from Congo, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay, Mari, please tell us more about. Just introduce yourself. Small world.
I'm Marie Mweze. I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm
Yeah.
currently doing PhD at Kyungpook National University in Daegu. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
okay. Nice to meet you all. So, before you came in, I was Kashmir just introduced himself. So he's also doing his PhD at Kangwon National University. So you're all PhDs, future doctors in the room. You're all welcome. So tonight, what we'll be doing is I want us to pass information about the Korean government scholarship. What is it all about?
Mm.
And you share your experiences. How did you get to know about the Korean government scholarship? What were your challenges when you had to apply? Then, even after getting the scholarship, when you got into Korea, how did you, like moving from Africa to Asia, like it should be, a very big change in culture. So the reason is September, as you all know, the undergraduate Korean government scholarship is going to be launched, where you are going to have a lot of students applying, the undergraduates, and a lot of them do not really have much information on how to go about it because the undergraduate procedure is the same with the master's procedure and that for PhD. So a lot of students would love to know how you got to know about this because if I'm just the one sharing the information, it's the same person. So people would like to know from other people how it's done. So let's start with Kashmir. How did you know about the Korean government scholarship?
Okay. Thank you, Roger, for
Yeah.
hosting this event. And I think through this event, we can get to give some information
Yeah.
related to how we came to interact as a student here with the Korean government scholarship.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it was in 2014 that I did not know anything about Korea by this time, but I was working with a Korean organization in my country called IYUF, International Youth Fellowship.
Okay.
And one day, the branch manager of my city just called me and he told me that there is a scholarship opportunity to study in Korea if I was interested.
Okay.
So I was quite it was very new to me because I have never heard about this. I did not even know what it was. So he just gave me that information. So I need to go now and find out by myself. So I went online, tried to search KGSP, what it is, tried to read about it, and this is how I got to get the guideline, and then from the guideline I started the process of applying for this scholarship. So for me, it was just like someone who gave me the information, and then I just act upon it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Wow, awesome. So Kashmir, from Kashmir's case, he had to work with the Korean corporation before, right?
Yes.
An organization before. So at least you knew what you had come across a Korean before. How about let's hear Mari's case.
I knew about KGSP program through my back then he was my boyfriend or my fiance. I don't know. He was living in Korea and I was
Okay.
back home, and because he was here, so he knew about such programs. So he just sent me the information, and
Okay.
I was interested, and I was. I
Okay.
didn't know Korea before him actually. I knew Korea through him, and I came to know about KGSP
Mhm,
program,
mhm.
and yeah, and I came to apply because he told me that it's a nice country and the education system is really advanced. That I
Yeah.
should try it, and I just went for it.
Okay, that's great. By the way, for KGSP, for those who don't really know, back in the past, it used to be called the Korean Government Scholarship, but now it's called the Global Korean Scholarship. It's a
Mm.
scholarship which is offered by the Korean government, Ministry of Higher Education, full scholarship that it covers basically everything from your tuition to your flight to your allowances. So basically you don't have to spend a dime. So Kashmir, did you face any difficulties when applying and all? How, I mean, was it pretty easy for you to apply during your time, or how did it go for you?
From my perspective, it was relatively difficult
Mhm.
because I did not know anyone who applied for this before.
Yeah.
I was just given an information. I had to figure out how to use it by myself, right? So it was quite challenging. And the first thing that I did was to go online, try to find some information related to this. But
Okay.
even after getting the guideline, I live in a French-speaking country, and the
Okay.
guideline was in English. So
Okay.
obviously there was a language problem, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to understand what is the guideline, try to ask for help. Those who were able to speak English at that time, my friends, I said, okay, I have this opportunity. What
Uh-huh.
does this mean? Please explain me. You see? So this was a very long process. Talking about challenges, I had a lot. The first one was language, like trying to understand the guideline. And after I did, the second one was how to prepare the document, because there
Yeah.
is a list of documents that you need to prepare, starting
Yeah.
from your certificate, your transcript. And
Yeah.
as I live in a French-speaking country, I
Mhm.
had to translate everything from French to English or Korean,
Wow.
which was quite challenging. Now, I
Okay.
could do it, I could ask my friend to do it, but
Yeah.
it has to be done by a certified organization or certified institutes. So
Okay.
at that time in my country, the only institution that was given the privilege to do this
Yeah.
was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I need to go
Okay.
there, like
Yeah.
submit my documents for translation and
Yeah.
get them back like after 1 or 2 weeks. So in the process of getting my document ready to
Yeah.
apply for the scholarship also, it was quite a very long journey as well. And after getting everything ready, I had to apply for the scholarship. I don't know for your countries, but in my country,
Yeah.
we don't have a Korean embassy.
Wow.
So we had to go to Ghana and apply in Ghana. So Ghana
Oh,
also was a foreign country, right? I had never been
yeah.
to Ghana before. So
Yeah.
I got the document ready. I have to travel to Ghana just to apply and come back home.
Wow.
So you can see how much it was, like how much challenges
Yeah.
I met. So
Wow.
talking about challenges, I met a lot. But at
Mhm.
that moment, if there was someone who could help me, or
Yeah.
if there were those kinds of information about session that we are having right now, to give
Yeah.
me information about how other people have been through it, it
Mhm.
could be very, very helpful. But back in years, I did not have this support. I did not have
Yeah.
anyone to help me. So
Yeah.
I tried to figure out everything by myself, and it was quite challenging.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's I mean, like, let's get to Mary first. Mary, I mean, during your time, you said your fiance or your boyfriend told you about the opportunity. I think it was pretty easy for you, or did you face any challenge?
Well, just as a customer said, Congo is
Yeah.
also a French-speaking country.
Yes.
So I would say the first challenge was English. Even
Okay.
though I had a chance because my boyfriend was an English speaking person, so
Yeah.
in the process he was really helpful. Where I can write, for example,
Yeah.
you have to write your motivations or your future plans and stuff,
Yes.
and I'll write them in a very broken English. And frequently, after writing, I will send them to him, and he would go
Yeah.
through everything, and he obviously changed everything I wrote. and he sent them back. So yeah, the language was really challenging. So
Yeah.
fortunately, we have these kinds of programs now, so that people may know that if you want to come to Korea, it's not only about Korean, but it's also about English. You really need to master English at a certain level. Because
Okay.
back then I didn't know, because I knew that when I come, I would just need to focus on my Korean language during the 1 year and it should be done.
Yeah.
But no, English was very important in the process. And I
Okay.
wasn't good with it. So, yeah, it was not easy.
Yeah.
And also the documents, just as customer, it's almost the same thing. So you have to
Yeah.
translate all your documents in like from French to English, and you
Yeah.
have to like they have to be original. Like what they think, I don't know. Like after translating, you have
Yeah.
to bring them to a kind of government office where it have to be
Yeah.
certified as original,
Yeah.
and that is really like expensive in my country. So they know that people look for such kind of stuff when they want to live, to go like in Europe or in Canada or
Yeah.
somewhere. So they just it's just so expensive for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the language was the biggest challenge during the process. And
Wow.
another thing is just because you have to send original documents, so you have to put them like to send them by DHL or by post office, and
Yeah.
it's stressful. You don't know if the documents will reach the destination, or maybe they might disappear during the way. So it's kind of yeah, that was also stressful. Even though we have the Korean embassy in Congo,
Yeah.
but Congo is a very big country, and if you don't live in the capital city, you will
Yeah.
struggle to get to the embassy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was also
Wow, that's impressive. And by the way, you guys, by the way, while you're talking, another student is Suza Deborah. She's interested in knowing about the class timetable for the first year. That is the Korean class timetable. And Suza, we're going to be talking about that as well because she said she couldn't find any information online as far as the timetable for the class, the Korean class timetable is concerned. We are going to talk about that after we talk about the application period or process, because that too is very important. You know, when I was coming to Korea during my own year, I knew I was coming to relax because I was from another scholarship. So I knew I was coming to relax. Her question is very important because, trust me, it's very challenging. Like Kashmir, would you want to, before we continue, would you like to tell us more about your timetable for the Korean class when you got to Korea?
Okay, sure. Actually, as she said, this is a very important question
Yeah,
that she asked. And before coming here, also, I did not have this information.
yeah,
But when I got here, when I was studying Korean language, we had to study from 9 to 1, like 4 hours every day.
okay.
So this was just for, like, this was our regular classes.
Yeah,
And after that, so for some days, maybe 2 days in a week, or when we have a topic exam
yeah,
coming,
uh-huh,
we organize also some extra classes
uh-huh,
for 2 hours in the afternoon. So it
uh-huh,
is basically 4 hours in morning, and in case that the teacher wants to give you some extra classes for some preparation for some tests, you can have like 2 additional hours per day. So it can be like 4 to 6 hours per day. So depending on of the periods. So this is how I study Korean language.
So, which university did you study? Would you mind sharing or telling which university you studied your Korean language?
Okay, I study Korean language in Chunam National University,
Okay,
CNU. It was in Daejeon, so it is
okay,
located in Daejeon. So yeah, this is where I study my Korean language.
Okay, Mary, would you want to tell us about how your Korean Korean language study schedule was? Like, how was it? Was it the
Mm,
same like Kashmir, where you have to study from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., or how did yours go?
we used to go from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., but we
Yeah,
have 1 hour lunchtime in the middle, like from
yeah.
12 to 1 p.m. It's a lunchtime. Then you start from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., like another extra hour.
And which university did you study you on?
In her university in Incheon.
Yeah, in Incheon.
Oh,
You were
yeah.
in Seoul. Okay.
And
Incheon, sorry. Yeah,
Incheon, yeah. We used
yeah,
also to have like special sessions, just as you said, because we had to prepare for topic, exams, and
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
And so, yeah, at a certain period, we started going like after lunch, we start from 1 p.m. and we go to
Yeah,
3 p.m.
yeah.
And after that, we have to go in the lab, like to memorize words and stuff. Because Korean language school is not only about these hours you spend with the teacher. It's
Yeah.
more about what you do
Uh,
after, like when the classes are over. You have to go yourself. You
mhm.
study, like you almost break your head memorizing words and trying to write to
Yeah,
learn how to write down Korean, like the Hangul, the Korean characters. So
yeah.
yeah, it's for me. It took me like the entire day. I cannot say that it was from 9 a.m. to 2 or to 3 p.m.
Uh-huh.
because after that I will continue learning, and I'll go back home maybe at 10 p.m.
10 p.m. You were very you had to study because in my case I had my own Korean language class at that was in Daegu, Kim Young University. So my classes was usually from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., if I can remember very well. Then after that, for the slow student, the slow learners, because my Korean skills really suck. Like they were terrible. So those that had terrible Korean language skills, after that you have to study again from that 1 p.m. till even 6 p.m. There was a period when our classes had to take from after 1 p.m. extra classes for those that were very slow right up to 5 p.m. So at that point, you will stay not because you want to go, but because you want to study hard and catch up with the other students. So it was really competitive. It was really competitive. Yeah, it's possible, Susan, it's possible for you to have up to level 4 during your first year if you're coming with some basic Korean language background. But if you're coming like a newbie like myself, where my first word about Korean was in class, so I had to ask my buddy, like, are you sure we are in the right class? So it was really terrible. But there are some students who even had right up to level 6, right up to level 6. Okay, talking about that, we're kind of going to come back again. Let's go back to the application process. That was to answer Susan's question. Let's go back to application process. So Kashmir is like both of you apply just with the embassy track, right?
Yes.
Embassy track, because I applied using the university track.
Mhm.
So in some countries, like my own country, doesn't have a quarter for university track. So we are all obliged to apply through the university track, whereby you choose a university. That's you choose just one university. You send your documents. That's a one go, one shot. If you miss it, then you're out. And in order to choose a university, you've got to choose a university depending on your major, depending on your weaknesses or your strengths. So I want to ask Kashmir, like, what guided you to choose your universities? Because I know with the embassy track, you can choose up to 3 universities, right? So
Yes.
what guided you to choose your universities, or you just randomly pick them in your own
Okay.
case? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Actually,
Yeah.
for my country, Benin, we were not allowed to apply directly or through the
Okay.
university. So we had
Oh,
to apply through the embassy.
okay.
And as you mentioned, we have the opportunity to apply to three different universities.
Okay.
And when I was applying, I told you I had a lot of challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them also was choosing the university
Mm-hmm.
because I did not know anything about Korean universities. So I
Mm-hmm.
did not know which one is good, which one is not good, where are they
Okay.
located,
Okay.
do they have my major or not. I did not have any information about the universities at first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I did is that when we look in the guideline, they gave us a list of, I think, 60 universities. So there is a
Yes.
list of universities.
Yes.
So I went through that list and searching now the name of the universities on Google. Like if it
Okay.
is Gangwon National University, I just
Okay.
type Gangwon National University. And
Okay.
then the first page that come was Wikipedia. So, and then from Wikipedia, I read a little bit about the history of that university, what
Yeah.
was the strong point and the weak point of university,
Wow.
and then I get access to the website of that university.
Okay.
So from the website, when you click at first, everything is in Korean. You have to find like English version, right?
Yes.
So what I really did, uh, I was trying to go through that list one by one, but it was taking too much time. And at that time, I was already in Ghana, and I had to
Wow.
apply for the scholarship like the next day because things were very messed up by then. So
Yes.
I did not really have time to check all those universities. But what I did is that when I start reading from Wikipedia, I can know if this university is aligned with what I want to study or not. So at
Okay.
that moment, I was looking for environmental science. So I just go into Wikipedia, search first, and go to a website and search if there is environmental science major.
Okay.
So if there is, I just like write it down. Okay, this university is one of my potential universities.
Okay.
And this is how I made a list. And from this list, I chose to apply for just three that I thought was like really fit with what I wanted to study. So this is how I picked my three universities, and then I applied. And after that, I got admissions, and
Yeah.
I have to select now one university from
Mhm.
those where I was admitted. So
Yeah.
I just chose the one I studied.
Okay. And that's awesome. So you did so much work from checking online, Wikipedia, and all of that. Wow.
Yes.
And Marie, how about you? Was it a similar situation, or your boyfriend, fiance picked for you, or
No, I didn't go through
yeah,
through that because he
yes,
had told me that my university was the best in the region because he was
okay,
living in Daegu. And
yes,
at the time, he was at Yongnam University.
yes,
And I was like, I will come to your school. And he was like, no, 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 no. The best one is Kyungpook National University. So you have to go there. That's the
yes,
best in this, like in this
yes,
city or this region.
yes,
Then when he told me about Kyungpook University, National University, then I look for it now, knowing that I will go there.
yes,
So I just kind of wanted to know what kind of university it is, when it was
mm-hmm,
founded and stuff.
mm-hmm.
And fortunately, there was something I wanted to do at that school, so I just went there.
Wow. Because in my own case, I had a friend who already was studying in Korea, so the part where he helped was that he helped me to recommend my own university, which university I had to apply for. And I think that was really a good thing he did. Because had it been I went for the Sky University, we're going to talk about what are the Sky universities in Korea. Had it been went in for the Sky universities, probably I might not, I couldn't have made it through, because a lot of people throughout the years, when people are applying, probably maybe 80% of people want to apply for Sky universities, which are usually very competitive. but there are other universities which are as good as those ones, and a lot of people don't apply for it, you know, because if you've noticed, my channel is all about mentoring students on how to apply for these opportunities. So there are students from my previous experience, you will recommend for example, you have Yonam University where your fiance by then is. It's a very good university, you know, but when someone is applying, he'll be like, no, I want Seoul University. But when you look at because with the English system you have the GPA, with the French system you have grade point, right? So when you look at that, for instance, and you have people from, let's say, within Africa, Ethiopia, because I've studied within East and West Africa, and the grading systems differ, and the way marks are being accorded differ too. So sometimes people from Ethiopia will have higher GPAs, and you from, for example, Cameroon, you have a lower one, you know, and you end up not being selected, not because you're not good enough, but just because of the system. So you advise someone go for UNAM and the one Seoul National Universities. So at the end of the day, they end up not having it. So this is the purpose why, one of the reasons why I have a channel like this one to, you know, mentor students, younger people who are applying, because I've had a couple of scholarships, so I know how all of these things go into. So from application, let's get into when you were selected, when you got the letter that, oh, Marie, you know, the letter is usually we announce, or we are telling you you've got the position. Kashmir, you've got this position. How did you feel about it? Like, you know, what was the next step for you? Were you excited coming to Korea, or how did it go for you? Let's start with Mary this time around.
Yeah, I was excited. It was a very exciting news because in my mind, I was planning to leave my country anyway.
Okay. Okay.
And Korea was the first country I ever tried, and it worked. So I was like,
Yes.
okay, I just tried for the first time, and it works. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's great. It's good. So I really felt good,
Mhm.
and I was so proud of myself because I did everything in English. You see, I had to go through an interview
Yes.
and shaking and nervous. I just went through it like that with the English I
Mhm.
was talking. I don't know what I was talking actually,
Yeah.
but when I received the results, and I was like, okay, so it worked. So my English
Yeah.
worked. Actually,
Yeah.
so
And
yeah,
then, wow,
I
that's
was.
amazing. And then Kashmir, how was it? How did you feel about the whole experience? Like traveling from Benin to Ghana just to apply. You took a big risk.
Actually, I don't even know how to explain this feeling because the struggle was real. And
Yeah.
when I got, it was on May, I think May 2nd, 2014. I went
Wow.
on the website of NID and I
Yeah.
checked like the list. Say, oh, I made it! I made it!
Wow.
I was so happy. I cannot even explain like how much happy I was on that day
Yeah.
because after everything that I have been through, like spending money, struggling to
Yeah.
do this and that,
Yeah.
the stress was too much. If I didn't make it, I don't know how I will feel. But it felt so
Yeah.
good knowing that my name was on that list, and I
Yeah.
was I just need to prepare like things for like a medical
Mm.
checkup and all those things
Yes.
to complete my application.
Yes.
So it was really good.
Yeah. And we left out one part, the interview session. How Let's start with Kashmir. How was what were the questions you were asked during your interview session?
Actually, this is something that uh, I don't even know how to explain. From when I was applying, I went
Yeah.
from Benin to Ghana to apply. And
Yes.
after that, they did not call me for interview. That
Whoa.
was strange, right? They did not
Wow.
call me for any interview. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I was already left
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
But yes, I didn't go through any interview until I
Mhm.
got the admission.
Wow. And that's amazing. This is pretty strange because let's get to Mary first before I drop my comment. Mary, how about you? How did your interview go?
Um, my interview. Okay, I can say it went well because I'm in Korea now. But
Yeah.
but it was stressful. I was really nervous because they gave me a schedule.
Yeah.
They called me 3 days before and they told me we're having an interview.
Yeah.
Like they gave me the time and the date,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that time I was ready and I just kicked anybody, like all the family. You just go out,
Yeah.
go. The whole living room was just for myself.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
So yeah. So a man called and then a woman. There were two people, but on the
Okay.
phone because I wasn't living in Kinshasa, which is the capital city, and where the
Okay.
embassy is. So I
Yeah.
had to do a phone call, a phone
Yeah.
interview. So yeah, questions were not that much complicated actually. Those questions are basically from everything you wrote down when you were applying.
Mm-hmm.
Like why do you want to go to study in Korea? What are your plans?
Yeah.
Why only Korea and not other developed
Yeah.
countries?
Yes.
And are you planning to go like to go back to your country when you finish?
That question.
Yeah,
That was yeah.
what should you do for Korea, for example, after
Yeah.
studying and stuff? Do you think you can do something for the country, for Korea, or for university?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's those questions, and I was really comfortable with them because,
Okay.
fortunately, I didn't lie in my application form. So people need to know that you don't
Yeah.
need to lie when you're applying because you might
Yes,
forget something important when you're doing the interview, and it
bro.
just destroys everything.
That's very true.
Either you don't lie, or if you lie, memorize your lies so that you can say them just
Yes.
in the interview.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Because my own in my own case, I was from the batch. I didn't even ask you what batch you guys were. I applied. I think I came into the batch of 2015. That
Mhm.
was probably Kashmir came in before me, and I followed. Marie, how
No,
about what batch?
I came in 2015.
Oh, I guess we're the same batch, right?
Yeah.
Yes, probably. So my own case, my interview was through phone. 80% of people who apply through the university usually have phone interview. you
Mhm.
know so when my interview came in, because I'm into my area of research back then was into forestry. I work more with soils, so I was from the field, that's from the farm. So when I popped into the library, into the computer library, someone called, and I was, when you just receive a sudden, because my friend had told me they were going to call me. So when they called, they asked me, okay, are you ready for your interview? I was like, oh, fine, I'm ready. So they asked me questions, and one of the questions I remember is they asked me if I'm going to go back to my country when I'm done. I want us to talk about that particular question because the Korean government scholarship is structured in such a way that when you are done, you can either go back or you can stay in Korea. There are other scholarships like the Chinese government scholarship, you're expected to leave when you're done. Either you get a job or you go back. In the USA, when you graduate as a student, if you don't have a job, you leave. So the good thing about the Korean government scholarship is that when you are done, if you want to go back, fine. They're gonna pay your flight ticket and you go back. But if you want to stay, you can have an opportunity to stay for up to 2 years with a job seeking scholarship or job seeking visa, which we call D10. So it's another thing we're going to talk about. You guys have not yet graduated. I've graduated. I'm into the job market now. It's something big now in Korea, especially with the fact with COVID where we don't have the job fairs which we used to have. So maybe we might talk about that another day again. So that question too, they are usually very interested to know, and they grade you based on those points. Like they ask you like, when you're done, are you going to go back? So you should give a good reason why. If you want to stay, you must not say I want to go back. If you say you just want to go back, sometimes they might not want to give you the scholarship, because one thing is Korean needs intellectual resources. They don't have natural resources, so they need the brains, you know. Okay, with that said, now let's get to when you the part where Susan came in and she was asking about the Korean language course. So when you flew into Korea, Kashmir, would you mind sharing your experience after getting the award and then your visa? How did you go about getting your visa to come to Korea?
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I had to go to Ghana in order to just apply for the scholarship.
Yeah,
And the same way, after getting the scholarship, I had to go to Ghana again to apply for my visa.
yeah,
So that's what I did. I just got, they sent me like all the documents that I needed, like the letter for admission,
yeah,
and I just need to prepare my passport and fill the application form. And I think for applying for the visa, you need to pay $100, but the
yeah,
government pays this one for you.
yes.
So you don't need to pay anything for your visa application. So I just
Well,
got my documents ready. I went to the
yeah,
embassy, just submit it and receive it. I think a week later.
yeah.
A week later. So after receiving the visa, I was just ready to to fly here.
Wow, awesome. And then Mary, how did you go about your visa process?
I think that's the easiest process one, and you're very relaxed because you know you're already accepted.
Yes,
And all the documents that are asked by the embassy, you just write an email and they will be sent to you. So yeah, I just received like the admission certificate from the school, these financial statement,
yes,
flight ticket and stuff. And
yeah.
when you're applying for visa now, you have to present yourself. Yeah, you have to be there as the embassy. So I
Okay,
had to take a flight from my home country to Kinshasa, and
okay,
yeah, it was not a very complicated process. Even though
okay.
you're still thinking sometimes, oh my God,
Yeah,
maybe I'll be refused and stuff.
yes.
But fortunately, the Korean government
Mm,
provides, they give all the documents you need for that process. So you don't need to
yes.
stress out about which documents or whatever.
Okay.
But for my country, I don't know if it works in other countries as well, but you
Yeah.
just need to prove that you have no criminal records.
Yeah.
As long
Oh,
as
you
you have,
you
yeah,
you so
and
you provided a criminal record
yeah,
for that.
you have to.
Wow. That's interesting. How about you, Kashmir? Were you required to provide any criminal record?
No, 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 not at all.
Yeah, because in my own case, here's the thing. I think during the KGSP period, because back then I was in Ethiopia, a different country. So when I went to apply for the visa, the student visa, so when I got to the embassy, I was told I could not be given my visa there in that country because I wasn't a citizen. So what they did was when I got there, because KGSP makes the arrangements are really smooth and really nice. Like you say, what the Korean government does is it sends a list of all its students to all the embassies throughout the world. So if you're in Brazil, they are gonna send your name to the Korean embassy in whatsoever city in Brazil you are. Same in France, same in Cameroon, be it in Benin, Congo, wheresoever. So if you get there and you're from another country, you might not be given. Yes. If you get to Brazil and if you're not a Brazilian and you want to apply for the visa, the sad news is they will not give you that visa. They will expect you to go back to your country. So when I got there, they pulled out the list and they showed me that okay, this is the list, but your name is not here. Unfortunately, my name was not on the list, so I could not be awarded a visa. And that was really good information for me because when I went back to my country, it was also another complication because at the embassy, there were back then I used to keep a lot of dreadlocks, hair things, so appearance is a big thing in my country. So when they looked at me, they were like, no, this is not the guy who really, this visa has been awarded to. So they had to send me the process Kashmin went through. I went through that process after when I was awarded mine. So it was a whole process. I was so stressed up. But finally, when I got my visa, it was amazing because they sent by then they sent my flight ticket and everything. The experience was really amazing. So Kashmir, what airline did you use when you were coming to Korea then?
So actually, from Benin, when I went to Ghana to apply for my visa, I did not go back home. I,
Oh my god.
I
Wow.
didn't go back home because
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to stay there for a few days,
Yeah.
and I took my flight from Ghana actually.
Okay.
So yeah, I used Emirates. So
Okay.
Emirates from Ghana to Dubai, and then from Dubai
Yeah.
to Singapore, and then Korean Airlines to here.
Wow. So basically you went all over through the world from Ghana to Singapore. Wow. And how about you, Marie? How was the experience for you?
Um, I used like Ethiopian from Kinshasa to uh,
Okay.
Hong Kong or to Addis Ababa or something.
Yeah.
Then I transferred to Korean Air as well.
So when you got to Korea, how was the welcome for you? Did you go to your school by yourself or how was it?
Okay. Before going to Korea, like at the airport in my country, because I had
Yeah.
to take like a Ethiopian airline flight I think at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
and we were late like 3 hours. We had to leave the place at 6 p.m. instead of leaving at 3 p.m. I think, or
Yeah.
yeah. So we were extremely late, and that stressed me out so much because
Yeah.
I thought maybe I might miss my second flight because I need to take my
Yeah.
stuff. What
Yeah.
if I miss my flight? So I was really stressed, very stressed, and
Yeah.
but fortunately I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Africa to Hong Kong, my
Hmm.
flight was very stressful. But from
Yeah.
Hong Kong, I
Yeah.
now took Korean Air
Yeah.
to Incheon, which
Uh-huh.
was very delightful, and people are very respectful. They respect you.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. When I saw Korean people for the first time in that airplane, they were so beautiful with nice skin and stuff. And
Yes. It wasn't a Korean drama again. You were seeing everything live.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
wow.
and the school, like
Mhm.
Inna University, sent a van just for me,
Yeah.
which was
Okay.
amazing. They sent a car and a driver to the
Yeah.
airport. I was the
Yeah.
only one going to that university at that day, but they still waited for me because we were
Wow.
supposed to be like at 4 people, I think. But
Yes.
came before me, and I was the only one who was late. So
Okay.
they had to come back for me again, and they waited, and
Wow.
they took me to my home. So yeah, it was a quite nice experience.
Kashmir. So now let's get into the studying Korean language part. When you come and with all the welcome, when you're welcomed by the head of need and all of that. So let's talk about the classes, the Korean classes during the first year. So let's start with Kashmir. How did your classes go? And by the way, what season did you come into Korea? That was during
Actually,
fall, right?
yes, I came in August, at the end of August. So I
Yeah.
started my Korean language classes from
Hmm.
September.
Yeah.
So talking about Korean language classes, it
Mhm.
was very new, very
Yeah.
new, because I did not know anything about Korean language before.
Hmm.
So when I came, they asked me if I want to take a placement test.
Okay.
So I said yes. Even though I did not know anything in Korean,
Yeah,
like I was trying to look at the characters, see if I can like get anything, but no. So
yeah,
I did the placement test, but at the end they told me, okay, level one. So
yeah,
so I started my level one from the
yeah,
alphabet, Madara, all those things. And at the beginning, it was
yeah,
fun because you are trying to learn something new, and
yeah,
just by thinking of the idea that you are
yes,
going to learn a new language, and in a few
yeah,
months you'll be able to speak a foreign language, it was
yes,
exciting.
yeah.
But this excitement did not last long. Because after a few days, things are starting to get very complicated. Just
Yeah,
memorizing the alphabet, try to make
mm,
some syllables,
yeah,
read the words, and memorizing. My
yeah,
brain could not memorize it. My brain did not
yeah,
recognize cannot recognize those characters.
yeah,
So after a few days, it was very challenging. And something that I want to mention here is that
yeah.
speaking English before coming here or learning English before coming here is very important.
Okay.
It's like very important and essential because from my own experience, when the teacher that speak
Mm-hmm.
Korean, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously I cannot understand, so they try to explain in English that I don't want to
Which
understand.
does.
So this was really challenging, but fortunately at that moment there was one friend from Cote d'Ivoire,
Yeah,
so he also speak French, and we
yeah,
were in the same classroom at level one.
yeah,
So when the teacher explained in English and I cannot understand, I just look at him and he knows already that this guy is lost. So he now explained me in French so that I can
yeah.
understand. You see? So it's like
Wow,
three different steps just to make me understand something.
wow.
So this is a very big challenge. It's not only with me, but I met many other people who are
Yeah,
not originally from English-speaking countries
yeah,
struggling with this as well. So
yeah,
during your Korean classes, if you are watching this, I highly
yeah,
advise you not
yeah,
only to focus on understanding Korean language,
yeah.
but you should have some background in English before coming here. So it will be very, very helpful.
Wow, wow. So, by the way, your English is good.
Yeah.
I didn't when the first time I met Kashmin, I couldn't tell if he was formerly from a French-speaking country or English. I couldn't tell. Your English, same with Marie. Your English,
Thank
both
you,
of
thank
you
you.
are really amazing. Like, wow. So, Marie, how was it for you studying Korean language?
When Kashmir was talking, I was laughing because I was just seeing myself through what he was talking.
Yeah.
Korean
Wow.
language, okay, when I started, it wasn't funny at all. I wasn't excited because it was
Yeah.
new. It was like I'm in a whole new world. I don't know what is
Yeah.
going on. Because I have to learn to write these characters,
Yeah.
and because I didn't speak English, it was very, very challenging because
Hmm.
now I felt down, or maybe I felt like I was stupid or stuff, because
Mm.
even if the teacher tried to explain in English, I still
Yes.
won't get it. And
Yes.
those teachers won't be guides to understand everyone. They'll be
Mhm.
like, okay, you don't know the thing in Korean, I tell you the thing in English, but if you
Yeah.
still don't know it, what do you
What
expect
should
me
I
to
do?
Yes. Yes.
It was very extremely challenging for me. So I just, and the answer to that challenge is just to work hard. Because
Just
if
to
you
work
want
hard.
to come to Korea and you're not a hard working person, just don't come, because you will not survive.
Yes.
There
Because
was,
Korea,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, Koreans study a lot.
a
The
lot.
work through the work that is if Korea has developed to the level where they are, it is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
They study from morning till 11 p.m. You can
Yeah,
check that. So
yeah.
it's a whole process,
Yeah,
like
and to add
mhm,
one more thing, my breakthrough came through Korean drama actually. Because
Yes.
I was stupid from level one, level two, but level three, my teacher
Yeah.
told me that there is this thing called Korean drama that
Yes.
I should start watching them. And I basically watch only one drama like 6 times from
Yeah.
season 1 to 16. Then I go
Yeah.
back 116 like 3 times or 7 times. And when I
Yeah.
finished the drama, I was
Yeah.
number one in my class. So it
Wow.
kind of a miracle. And I was able to have level five Korean language in 1 year only. So it's
Oh my God. So guys,
Wow.
by the way, if you're coming to Korea, Korea is a problem for you, just hit up on Marie. She's yes, Marie, it's impressive because when I got through her, she has a YouTube channel. Probably you might want to throw some light there, Marie. And her program, she runs it in Korean. When I was like, oh my God, like, what is going on here? So she speaks in Korean, she runs her program in Korean. So, Marie, would you mind telling people about your channel, what you do before we continue?
well, thank you. I am actually doing this channel activity, and my channel is called Being a Woman with Marie Moise.
Okay,
Basically, I was planning to go Korean and English, just as you said, but nowadays it's becoming very hard to mix the two of them.
hmm,
But we talk about women issues basically, all
okay,
about issues. And lately we had even an episode on how foreign women are living here in Korea. So we had guests from Cameroon, from
yeah,
Nigeria, and stuff. So if
yeah.
someone is interested, that might help also.
Okay, I think my wife might join that as well. All in Korean.
No, no,
That's
no.
because
It's in English.
Kashmir, how program basically is in Korea. Her Korean is really good. You know, like when she was saying that, I remember during my time there was a girl from Brazil. Her major was to be done in Korean, but
Mm.
when she came, she was usually by herself most of the time. So we thought maybe she didn't want to integrate, but what we understood later was that she could speak Spanish. So she could speak mostly Spanish, and on the other hand, English was really an issue. I could speak only English and French, and other people could speak only French. So basically, most of the time, she used to hang out by herself. So it was so hard for her to integrate to the because with the Korean scholarship, if you don't get a certain score at the end of your program, you're kicked out of the program.
Mm.
So she couldn't catch up and she had to go back to, Brazil, couple with those that, during the path had to give up, and couldn't proceed with that. So like Kashmin said, English is a basic a requirement or a basic language, which we require we need. Because during that I remember there was also a girl from Congo. I had to teach this girl, most of it. And at one point, she picked up the Korean language more than myself. So, and Korean language school, it was really a thing, really a thing. And like Mari said, it was after Korean language school when I started watching Korean drama. It is now when people really talk, I really, grasp everything. So, Susan was someone was asking about what are the clues, or how can you advise somebody to study Korean during Korean language school? How can you guide someone to do that? Like the tips, maybe Kashmir, do you have any tips on how to study Korean language during Korean school?
Okay. uh, from my experience here, I
Mhm.
wasn't a really good student at Korean language.
Yeah,
Not as much as Mary,
yeah,
but just by looking at people around me, those who really perform very well,
yeah.
I came to identify three things
Okay.
that will really help in learning Korean language. And if you are really considering being good at it, you should also consider like being like choosing one of those three. And now I want to share those three things with you.
Yeah, please do. Mhm.
The first one is what Mary just mentioned, watching Korean dramas. So those who watch Korean dramas, they are very good at Korean.
Okay.
The second one is to have a Korean partner.
Okay.
Those who have Korean partner also they do very well at Korean.
Okay.
And the third one is those who drink a lot with Korean.
Yeah.
This sounds funny, but
Yeah.
when I took a look at those around me who are very good at Korean, they fall into one of those three categories.
Yeah.
But me at that time, I was not like, having a Korean partner. I was not drinking. I was not watching drama. So you see the mess in which I was. So no wonder why I did not perform very well. But
Uh-huh.
for those who uh, think that they don't really need to
Yeah.
choose one of those three,
Yeah.
it's just to study by themselves. And it will require a lot of energy from you
Yeah.
because you need to put it a lot of time and studies again and again, like memorizing, forgetting. So
Yes.
it will be stressful. But those three things that I just mentioned, it's almost like autopilot.
Yes.
So later on, I watched some dramas and I have seen how much helpful they were.
Yeah.
So for the viewers, I already gave you three different things that you could try by yourself, and it
Yeah.
is up to you to make a choice.
Good. And Marie, how about you?
Well, it's pretty similar with what Kashmir just said, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say only like to meet a partner, a Korean partner, because
Yeah.
we both know that that thing doesn't happen often in Korea.
just in Korean dramas.
Just in Korean dramas,
Yeah.
most of the time Korean girls will run away from you if you're from Africa. Actually,
Yes.
so you just need to meet friends actually to make
Yeah.
Korean friends, not
Yeah.
partner or not,
Hmm.
just to make friends, to hang out with people, with Korean people,
Yeah.
and also to watch drama.
Yeah.
And I've been watching dramas because I used to I like to watch movies and stuff. Still,
Yes.
from back home, I was Hollywood's friend number one.
Cool.
And when I came to Korea, I just had to change from Hollywood to Korea because that was
Yes.
my kind of my
Hmm.
hobby. I can say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just about changing your hobby. If you're a music person, you just change your playlist from
Yeah.
English playlist to a Korean one.
Yeah.
If you're a book person, you just change from English books to Korean books. It's just about
Yeah.
including Korean in your everyday life, like
Yeah.
especially in your hobbies. It's
Yeah.
really what.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to add to the tips again, what I can say is one of them is Korean. If you're a Christian, there are lots of churches in Korea. You
Exactly.
can go and meet. You get to a lot of churches. You're gonna mingle with a lot of Koreans, but be careful with the church part because there are lots of sets too. There are lots of sets in Korea, so you can get into churches and mingle, and you will learn a lot. And then because when I graduated, I was working with a Korean before changing to where I'm working now. The Korean company where I was working, basically I was the uh, sole black person, sole person who speaks English. I remember when I got into that company, I was brought to the director, and it was the whole thing. So the director really made me feel very comfortable. I have in Korea, you always have Korean big brothers, Korean big sisters. Big brothers are called Korean oppas. Big sisters are called Korean onis. So I have my Korean big sisters, and I have one of them. She basically speaks to me in Korean. So I have to move along with the phone and translate. So when you meet these people, this is how you learn. So the tip was my Korean sucked because I'm someone who studies a lot. So I thought sitting down and studying Korean, memorizing will work, but that was not the right approach. I almost missed it. I got the tip to or the clue on how to study Korean language towards the end. Like Kashmir said, I found out that most of my friends that go out, they hang out, they come back, and they do basically very well. I have a friend who, by that time, he travels all over. He's been to maybe, I don't know, maybe 30 something countries now. And the guy really does well in school. And I'm like, how does this, just because he has a lot of Korean friends, he volunteers. Like when you come in into Korea, make a lot of friends. There are lots of free programs where you can integrate. But it's just that with COVID now, things have changed. But things are gradually, getting back to how there used to be before. So I think today we can probably, if you guys permit, we're gonna stop here today. Then maybe because our live was supposed to be for 1 hour, so I think Kashmin and Mari have other things to do, so we're gonna reschedule for um part two in another day. So for those who are still coming in new here, make sure you subscribe, click on the notification bell. Next time we're gonna talk about life in Korea, and then after that, job searching, because to search for jobs in Korea, back then you used to have job fairs, but now there are no job fairs in Korea because of COVID. But there are apps where, as foreigners, you can apply and get jobs. And basically, I'll be sharing one of them, whereby there are jobs where you can get, there are jobs for foreigners. They need jobs for foreigners, and they need skills from foreigners, because one thing about, so for example, in Korean universities, they need at least one, two, or three foreigners. So when you get into these companies, it's a boost for them and it's a gain for you. But if you cannot, or you do not know which websites to get into them to search, then you will not know. And next time we'll be sharing these websites. I'll be sharing them myself with Kashmin and Mary if they will have time. So we're gonna talk about all of this. And thank you very much, Kashmin. Thank you very much, Mary. So it's been a pleasure to have you all on my channel to inspire lots of people. Questions will be coming in later on, but we've gone beyond 1 hour, and it's good to respect time because Korea time is a lot. So I want to thank you guys so much for being on my live, and probably we can reschedule for the second part next time. So we talk about, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Thank you. And before we go, Mari, do you have any last words for people who are applying, the undergraduate students who are applying now for Korean government scholarship, before we go and reschedule next time?
Well, I would like to encourage girls to
Yeah.
apply, because when I came, I was basically the only one girl in my school from Africa.
Mhm.
And that's I was lonely. So if there are girls out there who want to come to Korea, don't worry, just come. It's a quite nice country, and we
Okay.
are here will be helpful as much as we can. So I would like many girls to come and to to have
Apply.
to,
Mhm.
yeah, to study in
Okay.
Korea. It's a very good
Okay.
place.
Okay. After this, I'm gonna get Mari's email address. I'm gonna attach on the description box. So she's here. She said, if you are a girl out there, you want to study in Korea through the Korean government scholarship, she can mentor you for free, right? Or you charge. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for now, for now.
yeah. For now, she's gonna mentor you for free. So if you have any younger sister, any girl, your auntie, your fiance, whosoever marries there. How about you, Kashmir? Any last words?
As Mary said, I also want to encourage everyone who is interested in
Yeah,
applying to for this scholarship.
yeah.
Maybe you are facing your challenges because
Yeah.
everyone have challenges by their own, right?
Mhm.
But regardless of the challenges you are facing, I'm pretty sure that some of us experience more challenges than you. So
Yeah.
if you have been through them,
Yeah.
for sure you can too. So don't focus on those challenges.
Yeah.
If you have any problem or difficulty, Roger is here. He's giving us valuable information. You can just reach out to him, and he will make sure that you get the proper information to go
Yeah.
through the process successfully. So
Yeah.
all of you, thank you, and Roger, thank you so much for
Thank you.
inviting us and
Yeah.
giving us the chance to talk
Yeah.
and share our experience with other people that
Yeah.
I call our brothers and sisters that come in
Yeah.
the next year or the years after. So thank you so much, and yeah, I'm so glad to like have this session with you.
All right, thank you very much. Kashmin too is at Kangwon National University. That's where I work at the moment. So he is also here, and I think Kashmin is also open to mentor or guide any young person who is ready to apply. So I'm going to request his email after this. If it's okay, then I'm going to attach on the description box. You can reach out to him, especially even those from the French speaking countries. Their languages are their first languages is French, right? Or English?
Yeah,
French.
thanks.
So those from the French speaking countries, please do not fail to apply. All right. Thank you very much and bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you very much, guys. So that was Cashman and that was Mary, the really lovely people. So if you have any questions, please do not fail to reach out through my email. So more questions, then we might probably schedule for the second part as well. And Deborah, thank you very much for being on the stream. Brilliant, brilliant, Shisham. Oh, Cherubim TV, lots of people. Thank you very much for being on my live show. Bye.